まず皆さんに質問です。日本酒は何からできているかお分かりになるかと言いますか？
Friends, family, esteemed guests, welcome to yet another edition of Nateyboy Abroad. Today, I'll be taking you to one of Japan's finest sake breweries. Yes, I know, it's quite the treat. So, let's get started. My day started off bright and early as I took the train to Takasaki. You can see we were able to catch the sunrise here for the 1-hour trip, just to go all the way back in the other direction by bus. But hey, at least it was pretty. So we got to Takasaki, exited the station, and I got there kind of early, so I just walked around for a little bit, saw what was up. Eventually, we got on the bus. We had a bunch of assistant language teachers on board, and we were ready to go. Our first stop was actually a rest stop since the trip took over an hour, but as you can see here, the snow is slowly starting. You'll be able to see later on how bad it gets, but this is the beginning right here. Inside the rest stop, they actually had already started setting up for Girls' Day, which is on March 3rd, I believe. You can see the rows and rows of Hina dolls that they've set up. There's actually a couple different arrangements of them here. But yeah, this festival is celebrating health and happiness for girls. And one fun fact that I learned from our tour guide is that after you celebrate, you want to take these dolls down as fast as you can, or the girls in your family will not find husbands quickly. So that was pretty interesting to hear about.
Highlights the importance of koji production in the making process. The koji mold undergoes a growing process day and night in a hot, humid room known as the koji room. The quality of the koji greatly affects the taste of the sake, so delicate temperature control is necessary in the koji making process.
By the time we arrived at our destination, the snow had already fallen quite a bit due to the brewery being a little bit higher up in the mountains, but thankfully we had no issues pouring in. The start of the tour began with some employees introducing themselves and giving us the rundown on how exactly sake was made at this facility. A lot of this information was equivalent to what was taught on the bus, so by this point we were pretty much pros.
You can see how much water is poured inside when you steam the rice.
ですけどやっぱりそのちょうどいい水加減というのがあるので、その水加減をいかに、ちょうどいいもの考えているものにするかっていうのが浅間酒造では一番こだわっているんです。
The most important part of the steaming is to give the right amount of the water.
After you fill it up with water, you crank up the temp to almost 100 degrees Celsius and start steaming. Once the desired temp is hit, the basin starts to swell up and the steam comes pouring off. And they even let us try some of their steamed rice after, and it was really sweet compared to what it's normally like. Then we tried some of the koji mold that is used to ferment the rice, but it actually isn't as bad as you think because it hasn't started fermenting anything yet. So this mold is used to ferment the rice because rice doesn't have any natural sugars in it. So by introducing this mold, it actually creates sugar in the rice and then allows it to ferment. Next, we were led into a room full of rice that had already started the fermentation process. And it was really interesting to see that it was bubbling. It was not something I was expecting, but it actually smelled really sweet too, kind of like apple cider, because they introduced different fruits to different sakes. So most of them actually end up smelling really sweet. After that, we were taken downstairs in their top secret elevator, and we were shown the filtration process that they use after the rice had finished fermenting. They also showed us some of their finished product here in the test tubes, and the reason they have them all here is so that we can actually copy them later, kind of like a blueprint, to make sure that they're staying consistent with their taste. And just like that, the tour was over and the sake tasting begun. We were given 10 cups of sake, but there were only 5 different types, and our goal was to try to see if we could match the sakes. So they say on the bottom here which one it is, and on top we have no idea, they're randomized. So we have to pair each, and we take this little quiz to see if we can win a prize. As you can see, it's quite a difficult test, hence the first 2 people here got 0. I myself got 3 correct at first until they realized they had made a mistake, so I actually only got 2 out of 5 right. But only one person got 3 out of 5, so not too bad. As lunch began, the snow did not relent, but thankfully that was not something we had to worry about for the time being.
Alright, please stand up. We're going to do a Japanese style kanpai. It's probably very different from what you've experienced before.
今日の皆さんのツアーが最後まで、無事に事故なく終わるように、また楽しい、ツアーになるように、記念して乾杯させていただきます。
Alright, let's give a toast. Let's do a toast for the successful completion of the tour, and hopefully the remaining of the tour will be a very enjoyable and memorable one for every one of you here.
皆さん声高らかに。大きな声でお願いします。
Right, so please speak in a very loud voice. All right.
はい、乾杯。
This meal is considered a local specialty in Asama and the surrounding area, so we were really lucky to get it. It was really hot, so it was perfect for the incoming snowstorm. It also included a little bit of seasonal sake, which was meant for the spring, but they gave it to us a little bit early. And they had a ton of these bottles downstairs to buy. I actually ended up buying a different one though, which was a plum sake that I enjoyed during the taste testing session. So I took one of those home with me. Now, I don't know about you, but I think my dreams of finally going to the North Pole may just come true with an outfit like this one. I also bought some omiyage to give to my coworkers when I came back to school the next day, but some of these were also for myself. There's some little pastries with custard inside. They also have the logo for the onsen on top because we're nearby Kusatsu, which is known for their famous onsens. Also, as we were leaving the brewery, we went downstairs and you can actually see a little bit of a museum that they have set up. They have some things like showing the process of sake making in a traditional way, or they have some of the gourds that they use to store it, or there's old machines that they used back in the day to make the sake. Eventually, it was time to leave and embrace the snowstorm that was waiting for us outside. We had initially intended to go to Kusatsu, the nearby town that I was talking about, but there's actually too much snow to go up there. So instead, we took a detour to the Yamba Dam, which you can see here in this photo, kind of the design that they had for it. And we went outside to go take a look, but it was a little bit hard to see. Oh man. Where's the dam? Oh, you can barely see it. Wow. Don't drop your phone. Oh my goodness. Looking kind of snowy there. Yeah. You too, man. Yeah. Turning white. New hair color, baby. So the trip came to an end. Due to some quick thinking by our tour guides, we were actually able to visit this foot onsen here, which is exactly how it sounds. It's an onsen, but you just have your feet sticking in there. You can't actually sit down. But hey, we'll take what we can get. It was a nice little way to finish our trip and start heading back home. Lastly, I'd like to give a big thanks to our tour guides, Inasa and Nanako, for their great work, just helping us get through this whole process, and for allowing a bunch of ALTs to go tour a sake brewery. So I will add the link to their company down below. If you've made it this far, you're either 1, my mother, or 2, you really enjoyed the video. So thanks for watching it. The first one I've actually tried editing, DaVinci. That was kind of fun and really hard. It took me like 2 weeks. Pretty busy guy, you know, got a lot going on. So it took me a while, and I'm still learning how to use DaVinci. Not suck at it. So we'll see if I can keep going with that. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, do the thing, like and subscribe. Don't want to sound cringe, but do it, I guess. I'll try making more. See what else I got. Bye.